I do like to read from this book once per stream. The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. Oh man, this is a big section. It's like quite a few pages. I'll just take a section or two from rules. Where's the camera? There we go. Rules. A rule is any guiding principle or creative criterion. It might exist within the artist, the genre, or the culture. Rules, by their nature, are limitations. The laws of math and science are different from the rules we are looking at here. Those laws describe precise relationships in the physical world, which we know to be true by testing them against the world itself. The rules artists learn are different. They are assumptions, not absolutes. They describe a goal or method for short-term or long-term results. They are there to be tested, and they are only of value as long as they are helpful. They are not laws of nature. All kinds of assumptions masquerade as laws. A suggestion from a self-help book, something heard in an interview, your favorite artist's best tip, an expression in the culture, or something a teacher once told you. Rules direct us to average behaviors. If we're aiming to create works that are exceptional, most rules don't apply. Average is nothing to aspire to. The goal is not to fit in. If anything, it's to amplify the differences, what doesn't fit, the special characteristics unique to how you see the world. Instead of sounding like others, value your own voice. Develop it, cherish it. As soon as a convention is established, the most interesting work would likely be the one that doesn't follow it. The reason to make art is to innovate and self-express. Show something new, share what's inside, and communicate your singular perspective. Wow, yeah, 100%. I love how he says average is nothing to aspire to. The goal is not to fit in. There was a tweet on Mastodon recently that said, Tetris taught me that fitting in makes you disappear. And that's exactly what he's talking about here, to amplify the differences. And I would even go as far as to say celebrate the differences is to take them further. Yeah, I guess the assumptions around a lot of infrastructure work and a lot of like security work is to keep it like secret, keep it behind closed doors, and FQauth is intended to be an open door for how to openly talk about security so we can all have some kind of basic secure authentication for our apps and websites. So I guess that's one way that it's bucking the trend. And then he writes, as soon as a convention is established, the most interesting work would likely be the one that doesn't follow it. Yeah. Yeah, I guess if you look at like Cubism or Impressionism or like any like past movement of art, eventually someone starts saying something new. I guess what really drove this home for me was, if you take like a music history class, they'll often focus on European music. And so you listen to a whole bunch of like Renaissance stuff, like Vivaldi, and it's interesting, right? But then you get to Mozart, and it's just like such a breath of fresh air. It's like, holy cow, like he's using like phrasing that follows like the instrument is saying something as if it's a breath, and that's it's just mind breaking. I do like how he kind of calls out self-help books and your artist's best tips um, as assumptions that masquerade as laws. Is like what works for one person doesn't work for someone else. Um, and this happens a lot on LinkedIn. Someone shares 5 tips of successful people or something. It's like, I don't know. It's often not all that applicable to everyone. And if it were, what's the point? I mean, we want to have our own unique voices as well. Yeah, so it has been a really tough week. So I mean, I'm going to call it there for now.